Howdy y'all in good time zone. Welcome back to another episode of Humans of Twitch, a podcast dedicated to showcasing the diverse backgrounds of individuals who have found enjoyment and community through online gaming. I'm Invernat, and today we are going to be chatting with a recent friend of mine that I've made, but lives all the way across the pond, and then some, in Norway. This is my friend Maarlee, although I affectionately call him Mart for too long don't read sort of reasons. But yeah, he's a very genuine person, but he found community from a young age through WoW, or World of Warcraft, and I'm excited to chat with him about the influences that has had on his life and how he kind of stumbled on Twitch, as well as like what it's like being Norwegian and interacting with people across the globe, and navigating English-dominated spaces. So I'm excited for you to get to know this beloved individual. All right, well, Mart, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too, friend.
Also, it's gonna be weird. No, I'm just gonna call you Mart. We can explain that eventually if we want to, but
yeah,
Maarlee,
it's alright.
You want to hit us with a small introduction of yourself?
Well, my internet name is Maarlee. I would do mostly like a Twitch chatter. I don't really stream too much. I stream like every now and then.
But you did stream yesterday.
I did stream yesterday, which was fun. But yeah, I'm 28 years old, from Norway, and my day job is as a musician and a music teacher.
As if you're watching this via YouTube, you can peep the little basses and guitars. Isn't it a mix of the two?
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh dang, I meant to do that for the intro, being like, let me pretend to be like the MC calling you to the stage. And coming up next,
they obviously always do that.
Yeah. I mean, this is just my impression of a rock show that I've never been to. But yeah, no, y'all, Mart is like actually a rock star and children music educator extraordinaire. So
that's me.
And also a nerd.
Yeah, I am also a big nerd. But yeah, I have some instruments in the background. Funnily enough, these are most of the instruments that I don't really use. Yeah. Because I have the other ones at the office.
Awesome. Yeah, makes sense. Fancy. But yeah, hit us. What is Maarlee from, by the way? I know you've told me this before, but I don't listen to you, so yeah.
So Maarlee has been since I started making friends on the internet. Maarlee has kind of been my internet name. It wasn't really a plan or anything. It just it stems from when I started playing World of Warcraft in middle school, which is that was my gateway into making friends on the internet, was through that game. Mm-hmm. So I remember me and one of my classmates in middle school, we were gonna make new characters. We were probably at his place, because we'd do that every once in a while, where I'd go to his place for one day during the weekend, and we just play all night, and it was kind of fun. And we were gonna make new characters and play together, and then we were gonna make we wanted to make the same race, so we could start in the same zone. Mm-hmm. So we decided on trolls, which is one of the races in WoW.
Yeah. And
I didn't really know what I wanted to name my character, but I remember I'd seen a WoW machinima, a WoW short video, either on YouTube or on the official WoW website back in the day. And I remember it was a skit of a news show in WoW. And the news presenter was a troll named Maarlee. So I just named my character that. And then it just but that becoming my internet name or whatever didn't happen until years later, when I was in junior high, I guess our equivalent of junior high, when I was 15 maybe. Mm-hmm. That's when I started playing with people that weren't my IRL friends. And then the name just kind of stuck because that was the character that I was playing, and they just happened to call me that. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I thought it sounded all right, and I just stuck to it. And yeah, now it's like I don't know, 14 years later, and yeah, it's kind of my internet name, I guess.
It's so funny how so many of us like have like such a deep history with our username, like stories and stuff, even though it's just like sometimes it's just something you just kind of came up with on the spot.
Yeah, it's completely random. Like
yeah, I know Veggie, like, or Gary, my actual partner and stuff, like he just did put his through a what is it, a random name generator, and it came out to be Veggie Punch. And
that's funny. I didn't know that actually.
Yeah. I think same with Olaf, like when Blueberry Onions also did that too. So
Oh,
which is how they
yeah,
connected.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's funny.
Yeah. So
Oh, I like
everyone's
that.
just like, you love vegetables, don't you? Or like some sort of deep meaning. He's like, no, I just put it, it just came out.
It's just a random name generator thing.
He does love vegetables, but yeah.
Yeah, they do kind
yeah.
of slap.
Low key. I'm actually currently reducing some curry on my fridge, or not my fridge. That would be an interesting choice on my oven because I didn't have enough packets, and so it's very watery, and so I added my own.
Shit.
Yeah, so we're reducing it a good bit and seeing what happens there. That is very related to this podcast, but yeah.
Nice, dude. Yeah, I gotta keep it on track. It on track.
Yeah. So we'll see if the house is still standing by the time I finish this, but it's on simmer. It's fine.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, so were you mostly a PC gamer, would you say? Like, because I assume I've never played WoW. You know this. I'm too lame for that. But it's on PC now.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanna say so. I had well, I think that was like I've probably been a PC gamer for most of like that's where I've played most of my games, but it all started on console really.
Oh, okay.
And I
Which
mostly
console?
my first console was the original PlayStation.
Ooh.
I remember getting it for Christmas pretty vividly actually.
Yeah, that's a good Christmas present.
So I got that, and then the original Spyro the Dragon. That was that was my first ever game. I'd played games before that on like my dad's computer because I remember like my cousins, they like installed some random video games on it. So I think the first game I ever played, or at least one of the first games I ever remember playing, was like a 2D side scroller based on the Blues Brothers. It's a super niche, really weird game.
That's so funny.
I think that is one of like one of my first video game memories. But Spyro the Dragon was like the first game I properly played, and I was like 6, I think, at that time. But but I've mostly played on PC, especially like in recent years with
Yeah, no, it's so funny too that then my first playthrough of Spyro was literally at 28. So here we are.
Yeah.
But no, it's a great game.
I actually have the disc.
Oh, really?
I'll pick it out.
Okay, let's go get it. Yeah.
So I have it here in my shelf. Let me put the headset back on so I can hear. So this is the disc that I got for Christmas when I was 6 years old. Yeah, so it's a bit it's kind of scuffed. It has my initials on it. On the disc because this is in the days of like lending your games to other people, and then so I remember one of my classmates, the same classmate that got me into WoW actually, he had Spyro 2. 2 or 3, yeah, at least one of the ones that I didn't have, but so he didn't have, because he didn't have Spyro 1, and so we did a little swap, I remember.
So interesting. So returning back to WoW, how did you get like super hooked to it, or what was the big hook of the game that just kind of got you like into today, besides just being fun? It could just also be that.
I think the big thing that at least got me into it was just because when I first kind of stumbled across that game, I was like in this fantasy bubble thing. It was probably not short after I'd seen like Lord of the Rings for the first time, stuff like that. And it was just the idea of a big like fantasy world where you could just exist in and just do shit in. I think that was one of the cool things where you could be an elf or you could be Legolas or whatever, and that being kind of cool. And then it was just the concept of like playing in a big open world and there just being loads of people everywhere, because WoW is like an MMO, right? So it's not lobby based like Call of Duty. You play on it's server based, so you don't play with literally everybody that plays, but it's like each server has like thousands of people on it, right? And
Gotcha.
yeah, so just there being people all over the place. I think that was pretty fun as well, and that was kind of a new experience for me. So I think that was the big thing that got me hooked to begin with. But the thing that kept me around was like the social aspect of it, to be honest. And I guess that's kind of on in the theme of this this podcast, I guess.
Yeah.
Because like it's through WoW that I've made by far most of my internet friends, both people that I haven't talked to in years and that I don't know what happened to, but also people that I talk to and play with like every day in other games. And I've met them through WoW. Some of the people that I talk to on the regular, I met like years and years and years ago through just meeting them randomly in WoW, which is, I probably wouldn't have stuck around for that long if it wasn't for like the friendships in there and the people that I met that also played the game, and we just, had fun together.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main things, without like going into like game mechanic details, because the social bit has like, WoW is very much, at least with how I played it, is very much a team game. Where especially at like the highest difficulty levels of content, you have to like be very organized and stuff, but it all comes down to the social aspect of the game, to be honest. So that kept me around for many years, and WoW was like pretty much the only game I played for several years, really. I barely played other games. It was like the one game I played. So
yeah, I had a break between middle school-ish and kind of college myself from most gaming. Although I could get hooked onto an app game or something
it's pretty
quickly.
Yeah.
Or I would like, in breaks, I would like bust out my Wii or something like that. Like, just like when I actually, like, I was very regimented of like, oh, no, this is my school time. I gotta only do this. But then like my work, I guess social balance was a little off. Where I was definitely gearing up to being burnt out pretty quickly because I wasn't having much fun outside of coursework.
Yeah, I get it. It's a very similar story to me, actually, because when I started high school, I had like a PlayStation 3 or whatever, so I'd play some games, like just some console gaming, but just very, very casually. In like high school, and through to at some point at university, I barely played games really, apart from like during summer holidays a little bit and stuff, but not on the regular. And,
I didn't get my Switch until 2020, though it was actually before the pandemic happened, so it was before the Animal Crossing sort of like everything shutting down was by a Switch craze. Like, I just kind of finally came to terms that like, okay, like, I want to get my own Switch. Since 2017 I was playing on a partner's of mine, but then we broke up, and that was just kind of a form of me moving on. Eventually was buying my own Switch. And so so you being Norwegian, was WoW one of the first times you were like interacting with a lot of people from like all across the globe, would you say? Like, was it a lot of English? Was it a lot of Europeans? Or are there Americans in the mix?
It's definitely it was definitely the first time that I interacted with um, other than like family from abroad and stuff. It was definitely
Hmm.
the first time interacting with people from different places in the world. WoW is like regional, so it's
Oh,
you
okay.
have European servers and you have US servers and stuff. So
Hmm.
I haven't really met any Americans through it, I don't think. But
That makes sense.
I've like interacted with people from all over the world really
Hmm.
through that game. So it was definitely the first time I had any sort of interaction with
Yeah.
people on the internet and people that just happened to be that happened to speak other languages. And it's probably been by extension one of the most important ways for me to learn English really.
Yeah, I was about to
At least
say, like, how was
at
that
least
process?
learning how to speak English,
Very
like
colloquially.
how to interact in that language and
Hmm.
have like a vocabulary that's not just based on what you learn in school, right? Even though
Yeah.
like the English education in Norway is really quite good,
Hmm.
but it's still curricular, right? It's still very like
Yeah.
school focused. It's
Hmm.
not super yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't think I rarely have to. I don't think you've ever asked me like, oh, what does that word mean? Because you just like, especially whenever we're messaging, like it's just
Yeah.
like super fluid and stuff. Like I always forget because I try whenever I know I'm in like interacting with someone where um English or just Americanisms aren't like on the forefront. Like I try to like not code switch exactly, but at least be a little aware. But with you
Yeah.
mostly. But also, I just like to troll you if you do get it wrong on a personal
Yeah.
basis.
I think the only things I'd like there's like some really specific things that I don't ever really talk about in English. And
Mhm.
there's like some idioms and stuff, right? Which
Yeah, idioms
can't
are the bane of people's
they
existence
can't
on all
they can't
languages.
really be translated. And there are some really good Norwegian ones, but there's like they don't really translate and stuff.
Yeah,
So like that
understandable.
just come up in my head when I'm talking about something or thinking about something. So it's
Yeah,
generally stuff
because
like that.
how often do you use English aside from online, like in your day to day life?
I did used to use it quite a lot actually, especially like during summers because I worked as a tour guide.
Oh, okay.
I worked as a tour guide in a stave church actually,
Oh, that's interesting.
which are these really old like wooden churches.
Blinks
They're
in
really
American. What
cool.
is that? What is old? 200 years,
They're
maybe.
really fucking they're like 800 years old, which is
Yep,
insane.
that's
But yeah,
amazing.
I was a tour guide there, so I which obviously most of the tourists there were from all over really. A lot of,
Yeah.
Americans as well, but yeah, from all over the world really. But there were
Hmm.
also my coworkers there were like a lot of them were from like the village I grew up in, where the Stave Church
Hmm.
is situated. But also, a lot of them were international. There were people from Holland and France and Spain and stuff as well. So,
Oh, that's super
uh,
interesting. Yeah.
so hanging out with them, we a lot of the time, we just spoke English. So yeah,
Just to make things easier for as a middle
yeah.
ground, I guess.
Yeah, but I think at one point, especially during like during COVID and stuff, where I couldn't really go out and do anything, I probably used English more than I used my own language,
Yeah.
just because everybody was just at home, so you just
Hmm.
be like in Discord calls all day with your friends, and yeah,
Hmm.
I used English way more than I used my own language.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, how do you find being Norwegian and navigating, I guess, predominantly English speaking communities online? And how do you find yourself reflecting on what it means to be Norwegian, whether it's like currently or like throughout the years? I don't know.
I don't really think too much about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's I generally don't really think too much about people's backgrounds in general because it's
Hmm.
like um, I don't know. It's weird. I want to say again. This is where like one of those times where um, it doesn't translate well to English, because I want to say people's backgrounds and what they do and what they like and where they're from, that doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
But I mean, it
Yeah.
matters to me, but it doesn't, like, I don't
It
care
doesn't.
if I don't care
Yeah.
if people are American or if they're from France or
Yeah.
Denmark.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Maybe
doesn't change how
if
you interact
they're
with people.
no, it doesn't change anything. Maybe if they're Swedish, that's not a great
Okay.
thing. But
The
other
little
than
dig for
that,
the Swedish American here. It's fine.
but other than that, the Danish aren't great either. But other than that, well, the French, well,
You're being a troll. You're living up to your
yeah,
username.
yeah, I am.
Yeah. So
But yeah,
being
people's
okay, go ahead.
backgrounds don't really people's backgrounds don't change how
Okay.
I look at them and how I interact with them, because they're just people, right? So
Yeah. No, that's interesting. Cool. Yeah. Um. So when did you start watching Twitch then? If like you were online with a lot of WoW, and how did you transition to like watching people online play games?
yeah, and again, it stems from WoW. I remember I was watching this WoW content creator. This is back in like 20. This is like before I had this break where I didn't play games for a
Gotcha.
lot. This is like at the end of like right before high school, like the last year
Okay.
before high school.
Was this
I
Justin TV?
no,
It was
I
Twitch.
think I think it was had become Twitch by then.
Okay.
But I remember watching this WoW content creator who made YouTube videos, and then I don't remember how I stumbled across Twitch, but I remember watching him streaming, because at that point I'd realized that I wanted to get better at the game,
Yeah.
and because of the goals that I had at the time, and then so I wanted to seek out people who were good at the game and people who knew what they were talking about, so I could see what I
Yeah.
could like learn from them. And then I just happened to watch his stream, but then I didn't watch regularly at all or anything. But that's
Did you
like my
chat?
first memory. I think a little bit, but I can't remember if I did a lot.
Yeah. Because yeah, that for anyone listening who's not the most aware of Twitch, like there's like a difference I feel like from whenever you first get on a platform. Like if you're first starting to watch someone, there's like a chat box on the side where you can type messages. It's very easy to just have the stream up and you are considered a lurker, and not chat at all.
Yeah,
And most people like alternate between the two, like that are even like chatters, because you're not like most people are not just 100% chatting at all times, but there's a difference between like just like being a lurker and then I feel like the stage where you start being like, oh, maybe I'll say hi or like ask a question. Um, yeah, I feel like it's a whole stage type of thing. Unless you're just that confident, just like join in and like, hi, I'm new, which does happen. But yeah,
yeah,
I can see you doing that. I can see you being like, hi, I'm Maarlee.
yeah. You'd be surprised how shy I actually am in terms of like meeting new
True.
people, to be
Yeah.
honest. But no, yeah, I didn't really chat.
Yeah.
I haven't really uh like typed in much of any chat for as long as I've been watching Twitch, until like the last like year or two maybe.
Yeah.
Because
When you Oh, so go ahead. Sorry.
no, because I started watching Twitch again. Oh, I thought about this the other day. I'm trying to like piece together the timeline of when I
Mhm.
started watching Twitch again. Oh yeah, it again. I think because I in like my second year of university. This is like in 2016 maybe.
Mhm.
Then that's the point where I started picking up WoW again, and then
Gotcha.
again I had this, after playing for like super casually for a while. I had this goal of, oh yeah, I want to like get. I have things that I want to do, but to accomplish these goals, I need to get better at the game.
Mhm.
And again, I sought to like watching people on YouTube
Mhm.
that did content, and then also watching them on Twitch. But again, I didn't really chat. I just watched what they were doing. Maybe I asked the occasional question, and maybe I got an answer or whatever.
Mhm.
But after a while, it kind of transitioned into watching other things. I'm one of my one of the most like important games for me growing up in addition to WoW was Kingdom Hearts when I was a kid. I really like
Oh.
connected with that game. And I think like randomly, like I don't know if it was on my feed or whatever, I saw like a YouTube video from GDQ where they did Kingdom Hearts speedrun. Because
Hmm.
I don't know if I think they used to do them quite a lot, and it'd be like a big event, and people would donate for like different Disney songs and whatever.
That's cool.
Um, and I just remember it was super cool to see that game just being completely broken,
Yeah.
and people playing through it really fast and stuff.
Hmm.
So that transition, that is kind of what got me into realizing that speedrunning was a thing.
Yeah.
And then I started watching. I was still watching like WoW streamers, but then I also started watching like speedrun stuff.
Mm.
And then that eventually like transitioned into me watching Mario stuff because it's a very, very good viewer game. Like watching
Yeah.
Mario speedruns is really, really because it's very a lot of games have like really weird glitches where you like teleport all over the place and it looks
Yeah, and you
really
have no idea
crazy.
what people are doing exactly, but
Exactly. But
I feel like
Mario,
SM64 in particular, like
yeah,
you can see the combination of buttons in action.
for sure.
Like it translates very
It's
well.
just a very easy to grasp game from a viewer perspective because you see the guy moving fast.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. Like so yeah, that transitioned into that. And
And which
then
led you to Leanne, which then
that's
led you
true.
to me.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very random turn of events really because
No,
I
it's just how it happens, I feel like.
yeah, because I was watching the first Mario streamer I can remember watching. Like again, I don't have the timeline fully in my head, but at least I watched Simply quite a lot
Oh,
when
yeah.
he was like, and it was also because some of my WoW friends were also like speedrun viewers,
Oh, interesting.
and I was watching Simply quite a lot when he was like grinding for his first world record. Um, uh, yeah, and I remember watching live. I don't know if you've seen the clip when he got world record.
Was this in
Like what 130
SM64?
one yeah, SM64 120 star.
Oh, okay, 120 star. Yeah.
So it's a super famous clip where he gets world record and he's at his mom's place or
Hmm.
his mom and dad's place and he has this like big like scream of relief or whatever because he finally got the world record
Yeah.
right. Which is, I mean, obviously achieving world record is really, really big, but you know, he's had a lot of setbacks and whatever.
Hmm.
But then his mom and dad comes into his room and they're like super excited and super proud of him because, you know,
Oh,
he's shared that with them.
yeah.
And
That's cute.
yeah, and they were like they knew he was on like a good run, but they didn't want to watch the stream to
Yeah,
like be
they didn't want
nervous
to
and
like
whatever.
bug him. Yeah.
So yeah, so I remember what it's a super famous like speedrun clip. It's an extremely wholesome moment. I remember watching it live
Oh,
in bed actually because it was really late. I
did you
remember
start
watching that
crying?
live. I did actually, yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's no shame in that. That didn't mean to be
No,
like
I am a
judgment
big
based.
crybaby.
I mean, also whenever it's late at night in
Yeah,
bed, you're just like, all right, and
yeah,
wholesomeness. Especially if you have your cat with you, which I am only a little offended that Mio's not in the background for
yeah.
anyone
Mio
watching this.
is my little cat, the cat baby.
Yeah.
She's at my dad's currently, just
Hmm.
for
Who is,
logistical reasons over the holidays. So
hmm and who is what I actually want to see whenever.
yeah, true.
But kind of related to like speaking of like Simply's parents being just so like enthusiastic about it. What has been your relationship with like telling your parents about WoW or like that you watch Twitch or that your online friends in general? Like,
Well,
are you open about it or whatnot?
yeah, I'm pretty open. Like in terms of like Twitch and whatever, I don't think they fully grasp it really. So it
Hmm.
doesn't really come up in conversation with them. But
Yeah.
they know I have a lot of friends on the internet because at least when I've been home, um, you know, I've been in my, especially at my mom's where like the walls are like she lived in a pretty small house and the walls are really thin. So
Hmm.
she'd she'd hear that I was in my room, like just talking to people,
Yeah.
and she'd like ask her like, oh, do you just play with, random people, or like is it the same people that you talk to
Yeah.
every night or whatever? And it's so I mean, she knows that I have friends over the internet, and they know I have loads of friends that aren't like IRL friends or whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it, but.
Mm-hmm. No, it's
But I don't.
interesting.
But they're not really super familiar with like the game in general, or really like any games,
Mm-hmm.
or like Twitch in general, like internet culture, I guess.
Yeah. What about your bandmates?
They, again, it's this thing where it's like they don't have that interest at all,
Yeah.
so it just doesn't come up in conversation a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think they know that I watch some sort of like the gaming stuff from just probably just seeing my phone like when we're traveling and stuff. So
Yeah,
and
and you're
I
backstage
mean
being
and I
like,
mean
I have
I
the
bring
FOMO.
and I bring that is actually like sort of a where because I'm on like right before I go on stage, I like try to zone out a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and just typing to somebody or just seeing just something random on my phone is kind of a way to zone out a little bit before I go on
Yeah,
stage.
makes sense.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, like I bring my Switch with me and stuff, so they know I
Yeah.
play games. To what extent, I don't know. But again, they don't have that interest at all,
Mm-hmm.
so it just doesn't come up in conversation really. And I'm pretty sure they're not really familiar with what Twitch is.
Yeah.
So it's probably a very foreign concept to them. I would imagine.
Yeah, that's how I am with most of my IRL friends. Like even my closest friends, just because I only started watching Twitch in 2019. No, yes,
Mm.
late 2019. And I just kind of stumbled on it, so I had no idea it existed until beforehand. And like the friendships I made, I feel like it was very because of my upbringing was like video games were still quite gendered in many ways. So, and me being an only child, none of like most of my friends who were girls didn't have like just didn't grow up playing games.
Yeah.
Just so happened like or they just had very little exposure compared like and I just happened to have like a few enough friends like who like would have their GameCube, like some guy friends that like I grew up with, like
Yeah.
essentially like siblings or like cousins, where I'd go and like play their games. It'd be like so much fun, like so much where yeah, my parents weren't the most opposed to like getting me a Wii or a GameCube, and I'm like I just want a Zelda game because that was where I first saw Wind Waker,
Yeah.
was just watching my friend play it, just like for a random hour, like I don't know, and like but otherwise, yeah, most of those friendships didn't come from games whatsoever. So it's fun having those conversations about, especially now that I am very much on Twitch and like much more into gaming and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, where it's been almost like a reintroduction of like this interesting component that has become part of my life, especially since the pandemic. But it's still like I don't think I've changed inherently. It's just like, oh, I've just kind of been a little more in touch with this aspect that has kind of developed in times.
For sure.
Yeah. Growing up with the internet culture as we have, what are your thoughts on internet friends versus the IRL friends? Like when people ask you about which ones are real friends versus not real friends, and etc.
I think like in the beginning, I kind of just because especially in the beginning when I didn't really um I didn't have any, obviously since it was the beginning, I didn't have any like long-term internet friends really.
Yeah.
So it was very easy for them to just be voices. Especially because you're like over Discord and whatever, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very easy for them to just become voices. But then after a while, you start to like, at least for me, I started like playing with, a couple of the same people that I got along with really well. I started playing with them more regularly, and then, that more regularly became, we've played together for like, a year at this point. Oh, we've played together for 3 years at this point, and now
Yeah.
I have people that I started playing WoW with, that I've known for 7 years that I still talk to, regularly, that I've kind of shared ups and downs with. I remember pretty vividly when I got the opportunity that I have now to work in music and to live off of music. When I first got that opportunity, I remember telling one of my like WoW friends about it, and them being like super excited about it and like, oh yeah, shit, oh that sounds really cool. That's probably really fun. And
Yeah.
I'd known this person for like probably like a year, or I'd played with this person for like a year at this point probably.
Hmm.
And then I remember him telling me, that he'd applied to like a bunch of different schools. He really wanted to like study medical science at this and this university. And me being, I really hope you get in. And that sounds really cool. You're a quick nerd, aren't you? You're like medical science.
Yeah.
Wow, nerd. And then now it's 7 years later, right? And I've lived off of doing music for like the past 7 years or whatever.
Hmm.
And this person, he's done with like studying medical science, and he's applying to PhDs, and it's like cool as fuck. It's like super cool. And I
Yeah.
still talk to them, and it's like it's definitely transitioned from me thinking about internet friends as kind of voices at the other end of the screen or whatever,
Hmm.
to I don't know. I don't see really much of a difference anymore.
Yeah.
Es-
No, me
Especially
neither.
for especially for a lot of my like my really close internet friends, people that I've known for years and years at this point,
Yeah.
that have been big parts of my life, for better or for worse, right? You
Yeah.
know, one of my best and my oldest internet friends, like she was a part of like my one of the toughest periods of my life, and helped me get through that. And
Hmm.
that's one of the things that made me realize that these internet friendships, as opposed to IRL friendships, like they're just as real. Like
Yeah.
sitting there over Discord, crying about your miserable life to another person who's there for you,
Yeah.
because they care about you, to help drag you back up. That is just as real as sitting on a couch next to somebody doing the same. At least for me, like these
Hmm.
internet friendships, they're yeah, they're real, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, same.
yeah,
Like, I
for
mean, in
sure.
my bridal party, it was just kind of a no-brainer for me to have a few internet friends. Like Nina and Leanne are in my bridal party, and it's just
Mm,
like mostly because Leanne begged to give a speech, so I was like, okay, fine, I'll have
obviously,
you.
obviously.
Just kidding. But no, it's like, I mean, I wouldn't have met my literal husband if it weren't for Leanne in many ways. So, which is just really strange to think about how that all worked out. And yeah, I mean, that's a
Yeah,
whole
it
other thing
is.
of like, yeah, wasn't an intent of mine to date on Twitch at all. It was purely friendships, but it just kind of,
Yeah.
anyway, that's a
No,
whole
and
other
and,
thing
and
too.
you hear like stories like that all the time, right? People who've
Hmm.
you've met their soulmate or whatever, or their husband or whatever, through the internet. Like,
Yeah.
again, one of my best friends, she met her now girlfriend of a couple of years, who they now live together. She
Yeah.
met her through Final Fantasy 14, just completely randomly.
Hmm.
They just met over the internet, and now they live together. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah,
But
whenever I describe
yeah,
how Gary and I've met, I have like it's online, but yet it felt much more organic than like any app is
yeah,
like is how I try to describe it because it wasn't we neither of us had the intent of meeting someone. We were just like chit-chatting and kind of just kept growing from there
yeah, for
and
sure.
realized we could make it work because obviously geographical distance becomes a thing
Mm,
versus I guess like with in-person dating where we're like or using online stuff for your general area. But yeah, anyway, yeah, kind of related to like women, I guess. What is your experience playing with women, like with WoW? Because I can't say that I associate WoW to be um, a very, I don't know. Maybe it is more women friendly than I realized even in the Origins. Because I assume now that it's like that you can run into a lot of different a lot of different people, but yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't not that that's saying much, I guess, but I wouldn't say that WoW is more women unfriendly than any other part of gaming culture, but then
Okay.
again, I guess that isn't saying much because, you know, a lot of gaming culture, I guess, isn't super women friendly
I
a
feel like
lot of the
it's
time.
transitioning more and more because like
Yeah,
just
oh,
like
for sure, for sure.
yeah.
As gaming becomes more of a mainstream thing and less of like a gendered guy thing.
And also
Yeah,
just
for
as
sure.
society is like kind of deconstructing gender norms and such like that.
Yeah, I guess.
Too. It's just like,
So
yeah, why not? So
there,
like,
there's definitely a majority of the people that I've played with, both in WoW and other games, I guess. It's definitely a majority of guys, but there's plenty of like women that I've played with in the game. And again, it comes back to the thing that um, I don't really think too much about it because
yeah.
it doesn't matter to me. Like it doesn't change the way I interact with them.
You're still gonna be a
Like
troll no matter what.
again, yeah, exactly. Like it's the same thing as where people are from or their background. It's like, yeah, that's not important to me. The thing that's important to me is that you're cool and fun to hang out with, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, no,
so yeah,
yeah.
but there's definitely been I've definitely been witness to several like super cringe like gamer moments or whatever
Cringe.
where there's been a girl in the call
Yeah.
and I've just been sat there in a call with another like guy
Who's just not
trying to be super sly hitting on this girl, and I'm just sitting there just absolutely vibrating with cringe
yeah.
and just please
More than usual
make it
somehow.
stop. I can't, please.
Yeah.
And there's definitely been moments like that where yeah, and I've also probably been I've probably been cringe to people as well, but it's like I don't
You
know. I
are
feel
on a
like
daily basis. It's okay.
I feel like I'm cringe to people regardless of if they're a guy or a girl or whatever. Like, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah.
We all are. Yeah, for me it's just yeah. Like it's definitely a terrifying aspect of like a lot of online culture is thinking of like just how misogynistic you'd see like say clips online, especially for
Yeah,
like
for
lobby
sure.
based games, or like say Royale games where I don't tend to do those kind of games with my Nintendo type of stuff, but I don't know how much like yeah. I mean, for one, I didn't have great internet as a kid, so that was always kind of ruled out for me to like try out a lot of stuff because I had
Yeah.
dial-up speed internet in the middle of the country.
Ah, yeah.
But I still, again, I didn't have any friend. I didn't know anyone who played that who wasn't a guy who maybe wasn't even a guy that I wanted to necessarily be friends with anyway in person. So, um, but yeah, no, it's interesting to think of like where now I'm not as terrified about it. Or if anything,
Yeah.
I'm like more excited to like troll people that you come across. I feel like you can very much find your little niche where it's very quick to like get outside like the toxic masculinity and like misogynistic sort of spaces and find people who are just chill, you know, about whoever's
Yeah,
playing.
for sure. But that's the thing with just because of uh, how on the internet you can meet literally anybody from anywhere with any
Yeah.
background, you're you're always going to run the risk of running into somebody with very, very, very different views on literally anything than
Yeah.
yourself. And you know, sometimes you might really disagree on stuff, but that's just kind of life. You're just more exposed to that on the internet, I guess, just because of
Hmm.
the massive diversity of people online. So
Yeah. And also it's like where like I feel like I found like a safe place for me where like I interact with a lot of different people who are very chill with women, very chill with queer people, and like just everything in between. But there's also equally with like say 4chan spaces that are considered safe spaces for guys who can't get dates or like are just like
yeah,
very much like grappling a lot of things where you see a
yeah,
lot of
for sure.
things happen. But
But you'll have these, yeah. But again, like, yeah, no, it's just there's a place for
yeah.
everybody, I guess, on the internet,
Hmm.
for better or for worse. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, let's make it. I kind of took that into like a little, like I guess like a little downer of a tone. But why don't we take it into the next segment, which is kind of like giving you the chance to answer some questions that I like to ask every episode.
Cool,
So
cool.
first off, give me your hills to die on. Provide a brief little rant about a highlight and a downside of being on Twitch, Discord, gaming culture in general.
I guess it's really kind of a little bit what we already spoke about.
Yeah.
It's just, for better or for worse, the really really immense diversity that you run into, because
Mm-hmm.
you can meet so many people with so many different backgrounds to yourself,
Yeah.
and get so many like interesting conversations with people who they've grown up in a completely different part of the world, and they have a completely different view than
Mm-hmm.
yourself, for both good and bad reasons, on different things. And yeah, you can just meet such diverse number of people, and it's and that's super cool.
Yeah.
um, it can also, they can also be bad. You can meet people that you absolutely don't get along with, or people,
Mm-hmm.
that are hateful or bad or whatever. But yeah, I think that is one of the upsides, and also unfortunately one of the big like downsides to,
Yeah.
the absolute, or the potentially absolute anonymity that you can have on the internet, right? Because
Yeah.
obviously people who have really bad intentions, who for one reason or another just want to be on the internet to be bad to other people. I
Yeah.
mean, they can just do that
Mm-hmm.
for as much as they want, because I'm pretty sure even nowadays you can probably be completely like untrackable and completely anonymous on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
and you can do so much bad shit with like no repercussions probably. So that's also the bad thing, I
Yeah.
guess. And
Yeah.
yeah, even if you, you just run the risk of running into people that have really bad intentions, I guess, on the internet, which is
Mm-hmm.
also an unfortunate downside to this again, this diversity of people that you can be exposed to
Mm-hmm.
on the platform, and in gaming and on internet. But at least for me, um, the yeah, the vast majority of people that I've interacted with, that I've met through WoW, through Twitch, through anywhere on the internet, really have been really, really good people. And
Yeah.
I think I've had great experiences, for the most part, at least, with
Mm-hmm.
people that I've met on the internet. So yeah,
Yeah, I would say the same. Maybe the exception of this Maarlee person, but
yeah, I guess cringe.
yeah, we'll tell him eventually. So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so what is something video game or otherwise that currently has you pog champing, has you pause champing, and
Oh,
something you're pretty resident sleeper about?
wowza. Okay. Well, sorry, I was busy reacting to the emotes. Um, I can just I can start with Resident Sleeper, because
Okay.
I'm really Resident Sleeper about new games at the moment.
Oh, nothing's really catching your eye right now?
I feel like every I don't even remember any like new game trailers that I've seen, or anything that have caught my attention.
Mm,
Um,
I
I
can't
feel like
say either.
every like new game trailer that I see is just so mid.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, that looks kind of cool, I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's I guess that's fine. There's
Mm-hmm.
just nothing that grabs me about new games, and it's so sad, because I remember being super excited about new games in
Mm-hmm.
general.
Yeah.
When I
Also
was
says
like,
the one who sent me a trailer for WoW, the new season of WoW last year.
but it's
Just
just
kidding.
it's true. But it's mostly because those trailers are fucking sick.
It
The
was really
art,
cool. The graphics were pretty wild.
the department in WoW, they're like WoW has had big ups and downs. Like I don't know if we touched on this, but I have stopped playing, at least on like a organized basis or a regular
Okay.
basis. I've stopped playing for the last year maybe.
Hmm.
I still like pay attention to shit that happens or whatever, but yeah, WoW has its ups and downs, but like the trailers and like the art department is always peak.
Yeah. Okay, so what
They're
about
they're
pog
always
champing
good.
versus pause champing?
Let's see, pause champing. Well, I'm kind of just I'm pog champing about all the like all these smaller games that are kind of made out of love. So the one of the
Okay.
recent ones that we've played is like Lethal Company and stuff. These like
Hmm.
small just um games that you can play with your friends.
Yeah.
Just yeah, I live for that stuff.
Hmm.
Just being able to play small team-based games, small co-op games,
Yeah.
vibe out with your friends. I guess just vibing around with your friends playing games in general. That's one of the big things that I'm pog champing about.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
And then
and then what am I pause champing about? I saved it for last because I hoped I'd think about something while I was rambling, but I
yeah.
think it made my other two answers worse because had the pause champ in mind. And also, I didn't get to think about anything that I was pause champing about. I'm also not
Hmm.
rambling because I'm hoping that something's gonna fall into my head,
Do you
but I
want me
don't
to
think it's
go?
gonna.
Because I like to also
Uh,
go and like add my own little thing
yeah,
here.
sure. Here,
Okay.
send a pause champ. Oh no, I know
Okay.
one, but no, send it first. Send it first.
Okay, okay, yeah. So for me, something that I'm pog champing, I'm having my first day off. At least like there's a snowstorm happening, so it's super pretty.
Nice.
And I finally just get to sit down and work on stuff after a very busy like 6 weeks plus. I don't know. I feel like the last few months it's been every single day has been something super hectic. So finally just being able to be in my apartment for one day is very lovely. Something that I'm resident sleeper about. Hmm. Okay, actually, I have a pause champ one instead right now. I'm really excited that I'm playing both Sly Cooper 2 and A Link Between Worlds, and so I'm kind of pause champing
Nice.
getting through those two and seeing, like getting
I,
on with the new year of like what all games are coming up on my games list, as well as
I
Zelda
actually
stuff.
I actually
And
have
yeah.
Sly 2 on my shelf somewhere up
Oh
here.
my gosh, really?
Here,
Hey.
one of the games up here. One of them
Mhm.
is Wind Waker, just because it's the most recent game that I bought, and the other one is
Mhm.
Sly 2, and there's another one up here somewhere.
Yeah. And then Resident Sleeper, winter is. I just got back from like the Dominican Republic, which was so sunny and beautiful,
Ah,
and now I'm back in Midwestern winter, and it's just going to be cold for 5 months, which I don't
mm.
like, which is even worse for you as a Norwegian. But
Yeah. I
yeah,
fortunately I do quite like the winter. I
okay,
don't
that's good.
like I like the like snow and the cold and stuff. I think that's kind of nice, but
Mhm.
I don't like it that it's so dark. It
Yeah,
just
that's
makes me
I can only
sad because
imagine.
especially with like the nature of my like day job or whatever, like my teaching job, because I
Yeah,
teach during the afternoons. So it's just it's pitch
pitch black.
black. It's
Yeah,
so dark when I get back home, and it's just yeah, it just makes me a little it's a little meh. But
yeah.
yeah,
No, I love in the
I didn't
summer.
sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just love in the summer whenever you like waking up early with the sun, and that just kind of messed with my whole schedule of just like, oh,
Yeah,
I don't want to wake up before the sun's out. But then
for
I'd
sure,
like,
dude.
yeah. Anyway, sorry. I cut you off there.
Yeah, no, I was yeah, I didn't think about IRL stuff really.
Hmm.
One of the things I'm pause jumping about, at least like IRL or whatever, is I have a very, very busy year
Hmm.
now. It's a bit of a quiet before the storm now at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But I think this year is going to be really, really busy.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm my like anxiety brain is telling me that like, oh yeah, you're not gonna make it. It's gonna be terrible. You're just gonna
Yeah.
just hit a brick wall. I think it's gonna be all right, but yeah, I'm excited to see how this year pans out because I think it's gonna be fun, but it's gonna be really really hectic and really busy,
Hmm.
and we'll see how much time I have for anything other than working or
Existing.
playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Gotcha.
because yeah, I'm like getting more and more into like speedrunning it other than
Hmm.
watching it because I've been watching it for years, but I'm getting more into doing actual runs myself. But it takes a lot of time, right?
It really does.
And
It did not,
it
yeah.
takes time, and not only time, but like consistency, right? You have to keep
It's almost
at
like
it.
music. I feel like I'm tapping into like my music skills with like you have to kind of keep practicing or
It
like
is. I
like
have
the muscle memory and such.
I have the exact same approach to practicing speedrunning stuff as I did to practicing music.
Yeah,
I use that same methodology really, so
yeah, that came up with
and
me
it
too.
works out.
Whatever. Yeah.
And it works. It works for me. But yeah, so I hope I'll be able to maintain like the speedrun stuff that I'm like slowly getting into. Like I'm doing Wind Waker HD at the moment. Like I'm currently learning the post grapple percent route. You know, I'm always like playing Mario on and off just for fun. I kind of want to see
yeah.
maybe start doing some 70 story or whatever.
Not even 16 stars. Skip it. Skipping that.
I don't
going
like
to
16 star. I don't like BLJs. Well, I
Oh,
say I don't
gotcha.
like BLJs. I'm really bad at them, so that's why I don't like them.
Classic.
So the BLJs are cringe because I'm bad at them. So that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
deal. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
of
you
course.
know, I've done like I've ran Spyro very casually in the past. Spyro
yeah.
2 mainly.
All orbs, right?
40 orb.
Oh, 40 orbs. My bad.
Which is like the OG any percent
Got
kinda.
it. Yeah.
I don't even know if it's the OG any percent, but it's like just the old any percent. It's essentially the 70 star of Spyro 2.
Right.
It's like where you play the game the intended way, no major glitches type deal.
Okay.
In a way, kind of. But yeah, so there's a bunch of things that I want to run and a bunch of things that I want to do, but we'll see if I have enough time
Yeah.
for it.
That
Like my
is- I
teaching
understand that.
teaching takes a lot of time because I'm still very new at it. I've done like music teaching stuff for years, but I've only been like a substitute teacher and stuff. So planning my
okay.
own like curriculum and following up students and stuff like that takes I think I probably spend more time on it than I need to.
Yeah, but that's a sign of a, you know, it's like, I feel like whenever you first get into it, you like the
Yeah,
first few years is a lot of like putting in the initial work and then slowly you
For
get into
sure.
your rhythm and know what.
Yeah.
It's more automized. That's a word. Automated. There we go. That's an English word.
That works. English. That works.
English.
No, yeah, I think so. It takes time. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see
Awesome.
how it turns out. What I have time for.
Yeah. And here's a last like repeat question. What is your favorite emote at the moment? Like what pops into your head right this second whenever I ask that?
Oh, Pagman.
What? I've never seen you use that one. You have to send it to me.
I don't remember. Pagman was like I loved Pagman for a while, and I haven't thought about that emote for a long time. I haven't really used it, but it was the first emote that popped into my head for some
All
reason.
right, cool.
It's probably related to something that I've seen recently where that emote was used. I obviously use the emote Wicked a lot.
Wicked.
I think,
Yeah.
just because it's a funny emote.
Yeah, if you watch the
but yeah,
video,
no.
I'll put it there, and I'll try to figure out a way to put it in the show notes.
Yeah, no, but Pagman is
right.
definitely up there.
I'm
it was
sure
the
I've
first
seen it
emote that I
before.
thought.
Where can people find or not find you? I don't know if you want people to be checking out your streams or maybe your band.
They can find me. I don't want to like fully. It doesn't really matter. If people want to find out who I am, they can probably find out who I am. Because I'm not really super careful. But you can find me at twitch.tv/Maarlee with 2 A's and 2 E's, where I stream incredibly infrequently. I hope to like keep it up with like the Wind Waker stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe I stream other things. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still very very new to streaming stuff, so
Yeah.
just
You
mostly
definitely
do
are
it.
in my chat, so you can definitely
for
find him
sure.
there because he'll get FOMO if he's not there. So
I will get FOMO if I'm not in chat, and if I miss any streams of like the big
once you care about it particularly.
communities that I've gotten into.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, this was good fun. Thanks for joining me,
Oh, yeah, dude.
Mart. And
That's
yeah.
fun.
Now, wasn't that a great conversation? I'm so happy you got to meet such a cool person. At least I will privately say that. I don't know if I'll say it to his face, but this is just between us, alright? Yeah, he's pretty awesome. I'm glad that we got to learn some more about each other, and you got to be introduced to Maarlee. Tune in next Thursday for another wonderful episode of Humans of Twitch. Talk to you then. Bye!